मैंने आपको बोला था कि मैं सिंगापुर आ रहा हूँ। डेट फाइनलाइज हो गया है। मैं 25 अगस्त संडे सिंगापुर में हूँगा। जो मुझसे मिलना चाहते हैं नीचे दिए गए व्हाट्सएप नंबर में मुझसे संपर्क करें या ईमेल दिया गया है उससे संपर्क करें। मेरा टीम आपसे बात करेगी। हिंदी और इंग्लिश में सेपरेट मीटिंग होगा। नमस्कार, फिर पैसा बोलता है में आपका स्वागत है। मैं आनंद श्रीनिवासन। आज शनिवार है तो आज 2 दिन हॉट टेक्स करेंगे और हॉट टेक्स अंग्रेजी में होगा। ये बहुत बिजी वीक रहा हमारे लिए। जो बजट आया उसके बारे में बात करेंगे। मेरे भाई पेपर से कुछ प्रश्न पूछेंगे। शायद LTCG के बारे में बात करेंगे। उससे हमको शेयर पता लगेगा कि क्या डायरेक्शन जा रही है और जो मार्केट्स ने एक नया है कायम किया है उसके बारे में भी बात करेंगे। Vinod, now yours.
Yes. So the indices have shrugged off the budget blues. Nifty hits fresh high. So it's all this uncertainty behind us.
No, I won't say that the uncertainties are behind us. The government in its budget wanted to tamp down expectations. They increased STT on derivatives and options, on futures and options, and they have increased long-term capital gains taxes. They have increased short-term capital gains tax, and they hope that the market would damp down. Because the Reserve Bank Governor and the SEBI chief both have said there are problems and that the money is not going into deposits. Money is going into speculative assets. Money is moving into mutual funds in a big way because the returns are better. And the government's measurement of inflation is being questioned by everybody. And so people are not happy with the returns they are getting in the banks and have decided to move on and put money in the market. And the retail has become a big force in the market. And mutual funds before the budget were 20% on cash. So every dip was bought into. And so they were expecting a reversal and the reversal never came. Overall, markets are strong. However, the valuations are very expensive. The 1 year forwards earnings is more than 24. That means current earnings are at 25, 26. While this may not be bubble, this is extremely high. In the world today, India is the most expensive market. And for 2 days after the budget, every fall was bought into. And yesterday, the personal consumption number in America came very benign. The labor market was benign. So there's a rate cut expectations. All that pushed the market up. And the Nasdaq and the Dow also went up. The S&P 500 went up. The markets went up in celebration. So like the election results were shrugged off, this has been shrugged off. One should remember Lord Keynes's quote, markets can remain irrational longer than we can remain solvent. So those who have gone short in this market, though logically correct, would have been bruised by the force of flow of liquidity into this market. So this will put enormous pressure on the government. I have seen people borrow money and play swing trade and are lost money. So there is going to be a lot of retailers losing money. First, there was a report in the press about SEBI saying that 9 out of 10 people, retail, are losing money in futures and options. Last week, there was another report in SEBI says that 72% of all people doing intraday trade and swing are also losing money. So all this is to hope that the enthusiasm will be damped. But actually, people are looking for returns to protect themselves against inflation. And therefore, unless SEBI moves and acts very clearly against futures and options trade, you are going to have these problems. And the market may go higher before it starts to correct. May is the operative word. Higher before it goes down further. Yeah.
But isn't future options trade useful, Anand, to show that market where the market truly is, to show price transparency? I mean, what's the use of future options otherwise?
Future options are meant to be used by people who have already positions and want to hedge in the market.
Okay.
Suppose you're a big gold jeweler, you have a lot of gold lying with you in stock, and you have borrowing against it. Then when the market moves up, you are very happy. But if the market moves down, you have lost money. So normally what dwellers do is they hedge their gold.
Okay, certain percentage of the
Gold is hedged.
hedged. Okay.
Lot of dwellers who had unhedged portions in this period would have lost 6% of the value. And they have to wait for 5-6 months before they make up their losses. Yeah.
Retail prices likely be affected as rice sold in bags above 25 kilos could attract GST. They're saying even maybe flour and pulses also might attract this.
See, what was happening is it was considered that those who are buying in big bulk quantity were buying for agricultural trade. And these big bags were not being taxed. Now it has been found out a lot of people are buying in big bags. So what is not meant for trade, but is meant for consumption, even if you buy more than 25 kg at a time, will be taxed. This will affect if you buy in big showrooms like Geo or Water or Trend or the Star Bazaar or something like that. Or you buy in Amazon or something. If you are buying from your neighborhood Kirana, this will have no impact because it will just go under the trade. The government is hungry for revenue and is trying everywhere to get revenue out of this. That's what is happening.
As far as Aditya Birla is concerned, the way their product was placed before this latest what announcements have come, they didn't have much hope of capturing this K-shaped recovery on this high luxury goods. Is this new pivot by them, making jewelry and all that, and investing another 5,000 crores? Is they trying to ride on the bandwagon? Is it a little
It
too
is
late?
definitely riding on the bandwagon because while they have watched, Titan over the last 15-20 years has moved into Tanishq and has taken a huge percentage of the market. And Tanishq is now the Titan Tanishq brand. His valuations are extremely high.
Correct.
Whereas in Aditya Birla, most of the companies are in commodities.
Correct.
Like cement and other things, aluminium, cement. So the valuations are not extremely high.
Correct.
So you don't get 100-time, 200-time valuation. But their great rivals, Tatas.
Yes.
Now the Birlas are a shadow of themselves. They have split into various groups.
Yes.
Now the great rivals, Tatas, are getting valuations at 100 times earnings for Trent and Titan. And therefore they must be, and even Reliance is getting that kind of valuation. So he thinks he can set it off and set up a new company and get high valuations.
So how should investors buy this?
And my personal opinion, Aditya Birla Group has not been friendly to investors and they have lost money.
Correct. Yes.
So whether even their retail products has not made money. So better to skip it. But initially they won't offer anything. It will go through it will be owned privately.
Correct.
About 2-3 years later is when the
IPO chances
will come. It will come with very sky high valuation. So better to skip this and think to the known devils than the unknown angel.
What about this? RBI drafts norms on liquidity standards could reduce banks' lendable resources.
So what is going to happen is the amount of liquidity maintained by banks will go up. Now already banks are struggling, and so has HDFC Bank has already said they are not able to find deposits. And there was a meeting of chairman of public sector banks in which also there was a problem that there is going to be a scramble for deposits. So without deposits, the credit deposit ratio, there are too many, for the amount of deposits, the advances are too high. So already there is a scare that credit will slow down. If credit slows down, automatically interest rates will go up further and investment will get affected. So therefore, these liquidity measures have to be made sure that will not affect the lendability of the money. Basically, what will happen if there's no money flowing into the system, the entire thing will get squeezed and our growth will get affected. So they have to find a way to keep banks liquid and deposits to flow into it. If this means interest rates have to go up, they have to go up. That means lending rates will go up. And inflation is already high. And this will make it even more difficult. So in banks like HDFC Bank, the credit deposit ratio is 102, 103. It should be 81, 82. So anyway, banks have limited space to lend.
What is SEBI doing now to Vijay Mallya after 20 years? Them saying you 2006, 2008 you did some.
हो सके तो इस वीडियो को लाइक कीजिए, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और बेल नोटिफिकेशन दबाएं। इस वीडियो को अपने दोस्त और रिश्तेदार के पास भेजें और उनको देखने की आग्रह करें। नमस्कार, धन्यवाद, जय हिंद।
जय हिंद।